Most people think meaning is a luxury. You think that once you've got your food, your shelter, and your Netflix subscription, meaning is just a philosophical cherry on top. Wrong. Meaning isn't a choice. It's a biological requirement. It is the operating system that keeps your hardware from crashing. Without a sense of purpose, even a completely fabricated one, the human brain begins to physically and chemically dismantle itself. 90% of your motivation, your resilience, and your will to live is powered by a story your brain tells itself to keep the lights on. While you're out there looking for the truth about the universe, your brain is busy doing something much more pragmatic. It's hunting for a pattern it can use to suppress the death signal. Today, I'm going to show you why your brain would rather believe a beautiful lie than a cold truth, and how you can use this glitch to rewrite your own reality. We aren't talking about spiritual enlightenment. We're talking about existential firmware. Let's dive in. The patternicity machine, the anti-chaos hack. Human beings are pattern-seeking mammals. Our ancestors survived because they saw the pattern of the tiger in the grass before the tiger saw them. But this hardware has a side effect. It cannot handle randomness. To your brain, randomness equals danger. When things happen for no reason, your cortisol levels spike. You go into a state of high alert. To solve this, the brain performs patternicity. It connects dots that aren't there. It sees a face in a cloud, a sign in a coincidence, or destiny in a random meeting. The hack. Meaning is just the name we give to a stable pattern. Your brain doesn't care if the pattern is objectively true. It only cares that the pattern is consistent. This is why people find meaning in everything from astrology to conspiracy theory. It's not about the facts. It's about lowering the anxiety coefficient of a random universe. The biological painkiller, the Frankl effect. In the 1940s, psychiatrist Viktor Frankl observed something wild in the concentration camps. The prisoners who survived weren't necessarily the strongest or the healthiest. They were the ones who had a why. From a human hardware perspective, meaning acts as a neurochemical buffer. When you have a sense of purpose, your prefrontal cortex sends signals to the amygdala to shush. It dampens the pain response and boosts the immune system. The secret signal. This is why people can endure meaningful suffering, like training for a marathon or raising a child, with a smile. But they crumble under meaningless stress, like a boring office job. If the why is strong enough, the brain mutes the body's signals of exhaustion. Meaning is the ultimate performance-enhancing drug. The shared myth. Intersubjective reality. Most of the things you find meaningful, your country, your money, your favorite sports team, don't actually exist in the physical world. If every human died tomorrow, the United States or the value of the dollar would vanish instantly. They are shared myths. But here's the untold reason. We need these fake meanings to scale. A group of 50 humans can survive on biological instinct. A group of 8 billion humans needs a story to keep them from killing each other. The pro move. Understand that you live in an intersubjective reality. You are participating in a massive, multiplayer meaning game. The people who win this game aren't the ones who find the truth. They're the ones who can convince the most people to believe in their specific story. Narrative transport, the hero's arc. Your brain doesn't store memories like a hard drive. It stores them like a movie script. This is narrative identity. You don't see your life as a series of 30,000 random days. You see it as a story with a protagonist, you, a goal, and obstacle. The problem? Most people are running a bad script. They see themselves as the victim or the side character, the hack. You can re-edit the film. This is what cognitive behavioral therapy actually is. It's script doctoring. By changing the narrative of your past, you change the chemical output of your brain in the present. If you tell yourself your trauma was training for your future mission, your brain switches from post-traumatic stress to post-traumatic growth. The meaning is fake, but the growth is 100% real. The placebo of purpose. Science has proven that placebo meaning is just as effective as real meaning. In studies, people who were given a fake sense of purpose, like being told their repetitive task was helping a charity, showed higher levels of dopamine and lower levels of inflammation than those who just did the task for money. The secret signal. Your meaning engine doesn't have a truth checker. It only has a utility checker. If a belief makes you more effective, more resilient, and more social, your brain tags it as true. This is why we fall for fake meaning, because they produce real biological results. The existential famine, the modern glitch. We are currently living through a meaning famine. For most of history, your meaning was handed to you. You were a farmer. You were a member of this tribe. You served this god. The system wrote the script for you. Now we have infinite choice, and it's crashing the hardware. When you have too many stories to choose from, you experience existential overload. You stop believing in any story, and the meaning engine stalls. This is the root cause of the modern epidemic of depression and anxiety. It's not a chemical imbalance, it's a story deficit. The pro move. If the system isn't giving you a story, you have to self-author. You have to pick a fake meaning, a hobby, a career, a family goal, and commit to it as if it were the absolute truth. You have to trick your brain into thinking it's on a mission to keep the anxiety alarm from going off. The dopamine of progress, the goalpost hack. Meaning is closely tied to the dopamine reward system. Most people think you get dopamine when you win. Wrong. You get the most dopamine when you are approaching a win. This is why retirement depression is real. When you arrive at your goal, the dopamine stops. The meaning disappears because the hunt is over. The hack. Never arrive. Always keep a meaning gap. Your brain needs to be 10% away from its goal at all times to keep the purpose hardware engaged. Meaning isn't a destination. It's the distance between where you are and where you've decided you're going. The social validation API. Your brain constantly pings the people around you to see if your meaning is valid. This is why we get so angry when someone mocks our beliefs. It's not about the belief, it's that they are unplugging our meaning system. The secret signal. If you want to strengthen your sense of meaning, find a meaning tribe. When multiple brains run the same story, it creates a social reality that is almost impossible to break. This is why religions and fan cultures are so powerful. They provide distributed meaning that doesn't rely on one person's brain. The bottom line. The universe might be a cold, indifferent vacuum, but your brain cannot afford to know that. You are a meaning-seeking missile in a world without targets. So stop waiting for the true meaning of life to drop out of the sky. It's not coming. Meaning is something you write, not something you find. It is a useful fiction that keeps your biological hardware from decaying. Pick a story. Make it a good one. Make it a story that makes you strong, kind, and focused. Your brain doesn't care if it's fake. It only cares if it works. Most people are lost in the randomness, waiting for a sign. You just learned how to build the sign yourself. If this deep dive into the existential O's helped you see your own motivations a little differently, hit that like button. Subscribe to Curiosity Lab for more journeys into the hidden code of the human experience. Go out there, edit your script, feed your meaning engine, and remember, don't be a seeker, don't be a nihilist, be a pro. See you in the next one.